Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Kulstar. You can get the blueprint for the Kulstar from the market for 40,000 credits, and to build the weapon you're gonna have to put in additional 30,000 credits, a fully built Kraken, 2 Tellurium, 4,800 Cryotic, and 3,600 Plastids. The Kraken, by the way, also comes from the market, and it's luckily not too expensive. The Kulstar is one of the most ridiculous weapons in the game, as it is a Mastery Rank 5 secondary cluster rocket launcher. This is a weapon you don't even want to look at unless you have solid stagger resistance or immunity, because it's kind of like a crazier handheld Kuva Brahma. It fires out a main rocket, which then explodes into smaller cluster bombs, which either happens when the rocket or torpedo hits a target or when you press the secondary fire. Now, the actual rocket or torpedoes do 200 impact damage per hit, but once they explode, they do 300 blast damage in an area of 3.9 meters with 40% fall off. And other than that, the weapon comes with a 17% crit chance, which isn't too bad, a slightly above average 2.3 times crit multiplier, and a solid enough 19% status chance. Now, I've tried many different builds on the Kulstar, but the one I like the most is just a straight up crit build. This setup works well up to about level 75, which isn't too shabby for a Mastery Rank 5 weapon, especially one that can do this much AoE, but if you want to go beyond that, you have to start looking into different kinds of builds, either going with hybrid setups or even trying a hemorrhage setup, which I would not recommend because you only get the hemorrhage procs from the initial rocket, not the actual explosion. So your best bet, if you really want to push the Kulstar, is just going to be a hybrid setup, which actually works well for the Kulstar because the rocket hit and the explosion can apply 2 different instances of status, though that does require you to hit the enemy directly, which can be somewhat difficult, especially with multi-shot, because it spreads the rockets out quite a bit. This weapon was close to unusable, kind of like the Angstrom, before they removed self-damage, and I'm worried it might go back to that once they add it back into the game, because this weapon is equally as dangerous for you as it is for the enemies. It's also pretty expensive, which doesn't make it a good new player weapon, because, well, not only do you have to put a lot of stuff together to get it done, you also need to get stagger immunity, otherwise you just can't use the damn thing. But once you get established in the game and you can actually afford it, it's actually fairly solid. It's not a bad AoE weapon. It's pretty good for just farming stuff on the star chart and doing nightmare and fisher missions. Just don't expect too much from it, because at the end of the day, it is a Mastery Rank 5 weapon and the damage on it isn't amazing. Like, the amount of damage is okay, but doing impact and blast is not amazing. Also, I would highly recommend you try to squeeze in primed fulmination if you have it into the build somewhere, even at the expense of damage, because the extra blast radius makes the explosion so much better. Oh yeah, and just like all the other explosive weapons, you want some form of ammo mutation with it, even if it's just an unranked ammo mutation mod in the exile slot. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.